Shocking. My daughter gave away our family villa at midnight. Her husband's family gets it all. When the clock struck 12, the world outside the window turned dark as shadows clung to every corner of the room. Inside, a storm brewed, silent yet deafening. Faces were pale under the dim light, eyes wide with disbelief. It was the sort of night rider's dream about a twist in fate so shocking, it felt scripted. Who would believe that Rebecca, the sweet girl who spent summers painting the villa's porch, would turn around and sell it to her husband's shady family? Even as the events unfolded so surreal, they left all of us wondering if we had stepped into a twisted fairy tale. Just the thought of my daughter making that choice left a knot in my stomach, and as I remembered the family gatherings, the laughter echoing down the hall, the bittersweet taste of betrayal seeped into my bones. The estate, with its sun-soaked gardens and age-old oak trees, had been our refuge for generations. But now I could feel its spirit faltering, as if mourning an unthinkable loss. It wasn't just a house. It was our history, and to let it go it felt like giving away a piece of our very soul. At that moment, a disheveled figure stepped into view, my husband, Tom. The bewildered look on his face mirrored mine, and our breaths seemed to sink, almost as if we were trying to grasp something intangible slipping away. "What's going on, Rebecca?" he demanded, his voice gravelly with tension, but his daughter just stood there, a storm of emotions warring within her. The way she fidgeted, twisting her hands like she was caught in a web of guilt, and the shadows danced around her, whispering secrets of loyalty and love that felt strained, tattered at the edges. Just when I thought madness had taken over, a chilling truth dripped into my mind. Who had convinced her? It was one thing to be deceived by blood. It was another to be swayed by those who had shown nothing but disdain for our family roots. It struck me hard. I needed to know, was Rebecca truly in control, or had someone pulled her strings? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As tension hung thick in the air, Rebecca's changeable expression caught me off guard. One moment she looked fiercely defiant. The next, vulnerability crashed in like a tidal wave. Inside me, hope flickered. Could this whirlwind of chaos somehow lead us back to each other? The truth was lurking dangerously close, and as I glanced at the doorway, my heart raced. Who else might step into this chaos? What else could come tumbling out? The evening's chill crept back, thrumming under my skin as I understood. Out there, in the darkness, secrets were gathering their strength. What had been whispered in the dark? And more importantly, who was the puppeteer pulling the strings on this tragic stage? My heart thundered, and I couldn't shake the sense that this midnight drama was just the beginning of something even more shocking. The air crackled with unease, an electric current that paralyzed us all. Rebecca's eyes widened as the weight of our stares bore down on her. I could see her lips trembling, ready to spill something that could either bridge this chasm or drive the dagger deeper. The flickering light in the room accentuated the contours of her face, revealing a battle between regret and resolve. "Why, Rebecca?" Tom pressed again, desperation echoing in his voice. His hands were clenched into tight fists at his sides, nails digging into his palms as he fought to keep his composure. It felt as if the walls themselves were closing in on us, urging for an explanation that seemed like it lay just beyond her reach. I had to," she stammered at last, her voice barely above a whisper, quaking as it reached our ears. "You don't understand what they did. What they promised." I felt a sinking feeling in my stomach. Promises? From her husband's family? The perceptions of those who wore a smile but brandished knives behind the scenes? The air grew even more suffocating, each breath a testament to disbelief. "What are you talking about?" I rasped, taking a step closer, searching her face for a glimmer of truth. "What did they promise you?" The pulse of silence enveloped us, stretching thin until it nearly snapped. Rebecca's shoulders slumped as her gaze fell to the floor. In that brief moment I caught a glimpse of the little girl I once held in my arms, the girl who had believed in fairy tales. Now she was a stranger suspended in this darkened reality, tangled in narratives that weren't her own. Gathering myself, I tried to break the suffocating tension. If you feel trapped, we can help you, I urged gently. But this, I gestured toward the open papers that had sealed our fate. This is the answer. And what were you planning to do? Just pretend nothing happened? She shot back, suddenly fierce, her voice now filled with a mixture of rage and sorrow. You don't know what they offered me. They are going to help us, my family, our family. With a sickening twist in my chest, a realization crashed over me. Greed can twist love into something venomous. I caught Tom's gaze. The horror reflected back between us was palpable. The idea that these unscrupulous individuals could threaten the very fabric of our family was unthinkable. What do you mean help? Tom sputtered more forcefully, anger igniting behind his eyes. By taking away our home? Does selling the villa even matter when you can't buy back trust? It's more complicated than you think. Rebecca shouted, as if defense could drown out uncertainty. They have connections. I was just trying to do what was best for us. A deep shudder ran through me as her words sunk in. Connections? The word seemed to linger in the air like smoke, suffocating all hope. What kind of connections? The weight of realization thudded like a hammer. I knew now that this wasn't only about the villa, it was about control, manipulation, and dark shadows lurking beneath family ties. Just as that thought solidified, the front door creaked open, and I caught a flash of movement from the corner of my eye. An unexpected figure emerged. Backlit in the shadowed doorway, a figure cloaked in darkness, yet exuding an unmistakable presence that made my heart race. The question burst through my mind before I could hold it back. Who else had come to play in this bitter drama? What more could unravel in this twisted tale? Rebecca, it's time to decide where your loyalties lie. The figure intoned, and I knew deep down that whatever grip they had on her would redefine everything. The stage was set for a confrontation that could fracture our family beyond repair. My heart thrummed and I braced myself for what was to come. The figure stepped forward, revealing a face that twisted my stomach into knots. It was Marcus, Rebecca's brother-in-law, with a smirk that felt like poison. I'd always disliked him. He had a way of making himself feel bigger than the room, with an arrogance that scraped against my nerves like nails on a chalkboard. Ah, family. So quaint, he quipped, his voice smooth, flicking the air like a snake's tongue. Rebecca shrank back, and in that moment, I could see the last bit of the little girl I once knew vanish. You weren't supposed to be here, she whispered, more an admission of guilt than an accusation. Oh, but I had to see this for myself, Marcus said, taking a step closer. Family business is best handled when we're all present, wouldn't you say? Get out of here, Marcus, Tom growled, stepping protectively in front of Rebecca. You have no right to be here. I have every right, Marcus hissed, his eyes narrowing. Did you really think you could avoid the consequences of your choices? The villa is just the beginning, Tom. We have bigger plans, and believe me, you're all part of it whether you like it or not. A chill coursed through me. This wasn't merely a family squabble. This was a threat, dark and insidious. What the hell are you talking about? I demanded, my voice shaking with rising anger. Marcus smiled as if he were about to unveil a grand secret. Have you heard of leverage? It's what keeps the wheel turning in our world. Rebecca is simply a pawn, and we all know how easily positions can shift. I could feel Tom's tension spike, his fists shaking at his sides. You think I'd let you take anything from us? We won't succumb to your twisted game. Game? Marcus scoffed, waving dismissively. This is survival, my friend. You've already lost if you think you can fight this. Look around. Everyone has a price. An eerie silence fell, heavy and thick. The shadows seemed to stretch and flicker, creating a false sense of security in the dim light. There was something unsettling about Marcus's certainty. Rebecca, they're using you, I urged, stepping into the fray. You can't trust them. This is wrong. You have to fight it. Her lips quivered, teetering between loyalty and fear. But I thought they said they could help, my family needed it. The weight of her words smothered hope. What do you think they'll do when the help runs out? You need to see this for what it is. I pleaded, cutting through desperation. Marcus chuckled, a sound devoid of kindness. Cute speech, really. But she knows what's at stake now. Don't you, Rebecca? Stop manipulating her. Tom yelled, emotions flooding his voice. But Marcus simply leaned closer, and the look in his eyes turned predatory. It's time to decide, Rebecca. Are you with us or against us? Because those on the wrong side, well, they tend to disappear. Panic seized my chest. Rebecca's eyes darted between Marcus and us, the turmoil swirling like a storm within her. The choice hung in the air, a precarious balance that felt utterly disastrous. Rebecca, I whispered, my heart pounding in my ears. The flicker of doubt painted her features, and I realized her resolve was flimsy, like a thread about to snap. A tense standoff hung over us, the outcome teetering dangerously close to disaster. Could we save her before it was too late? Marcus's smirk widened, sensing the fracture in her confidence. What's it going to be? He pressed, each word laced with contempt. Just as Rebecca opened her mouth, footsteps echoed behind Marcus, drawing my attention momentarily. A second figure emerged in the threshold, someone I never expected to see. The air trembled with uncertainty. My heart sunk, dread pooling in my stomach as I clung to hope that maybe, just maybe, this moment could change everything. Before I could fully register who it was, the tension snapped back as Marcus turned to them with a challenging glare. This was about to spiral out of control, and I could feel the ground shifting beneath us. A new player in this treacherous game? What secrets were they hiding? Who are you bringing into this? I demanded, panic rising. As Marcus's gaze flickered to the newcomer, a palpable surge of dread surrounded us like a cold fog. I squinted, trying to make out the figure stepping into the dim light of the room. My breath hitched in my throat when I saw who it was. It was Sarah, the last person I ever thought I'd see here. What are you doing here? I hissed, my heart racing. The shock turning into betrayal curled in the pit of my stomach like a snake coiling tighter. I was looking for you, she stammered, her eyes darting nervously. But something about her demeanor felt off. She stood just a tad too still, with an edge of unease that sent another shiver coursing through me. Sarah, get away from him, Tom shouted, moving instinctively towards her like a protective wall. He's dangerous. Is he? Her voice was shaky, yet it dripped with an unsettling calm. You're wrong, Tom. He's one of us. Marcus's smirk deepened, his gaze flickering between us with amusement. Looks like the family connections just got a lot more interesting. Don't play these games, I snapped, fury boiling beneath my skin. What did you get wrapped up in, Sarah? She hesitated, the words crumbling as she grappled with something too immense for her to handle. I thought I was doing the right thing, giving the family what they needed. My heart sank. What do you mean? The family? You're not thinking clearly. It dawned on me with grim clarity, the villa. The deal. The sacrifice. Did you sell the villa to them? I gasped, the enormity of the situation crashing over me. Marcus straightened, a victor playing his hand. It's not just about the villa anymore. It's about alliances, Sarah. We can offer them security, power. Much more than you can, he coaxed, the venom in his tone barely hidden beneath his cool facade. Oh my God, Rebecca breathed, her eyes widening in disbelief. Sarah, they're using you. You can't trust him. Trust? Sarah echoed, her voice rising, almost desperate. I thought I was protecting us. I thought it was the only way. The room pulsed with tension as anxiety gripped every person present. I hated to watch her struggle, fought against the choke of anger that made my throat raw. No one is worth this, certainly not this monster. Marcus chuckled lightly, a sound that turned my insides cold. Monster? Oh no, my dear. I'm merely a facilitator of opportunity. And Sarah here is simply learning the hard way. The dissonance of ruins lingered there, mixing with the intensity of Sarah's gaze piercing through the tension. Filled with conflict, she was a flickering candle still trying to find its flame in the storm. Make your choice, Sarah, Marcus pressed, moving closer, his shadow darkening her resolve. Join us and you can finally save your family from the debts they owe. It's all very simple. Time froze. I couldn't bear to look away from Sarah. The way she flickered between fear and resolve made my chest tighten painfully. This was a game and she was caught in the center. I had to pull her out. Just as I took a step forward, the air thickened, and the lights flickered ominously. The world felt like it was narrowing, the room began to swirl. No, I shouted, reaching out desperately. Don't, Tom added, voice hoarse with urgency. You can't let them take you. But then, a sound interrupted the stillness, a distant crash, shattering the frail standoff. It echoed through the hallways, instant frost filling the air. What was that? Rebecca asked, her eyes darting to the threshold, fear etched into her features. The moment hung like a taut string, a harbinger of chaos. The threat of the unknown loomed large enough to consume us. Whatever lay behind that sound felt dangerously close, and I knew that something was about to unfold, something that would change everything. Would Sarah choose to stand against the tides of darkness, or would that crash declare the end for us all? Before we could catch our breaths, a scream broke through the tension, forcing us to face the expanding chaos ahead. The scream echoed like a gunshot, slicing through our fragile moment and sending a shiver down my spine. It came from beyond the hallway, a wild, desperate wail that clawed at our consciousness, urging us to either flee or confront whatever horror lay just out of sight. "Sarah!" I shouted instinctively, but she didn't respond. Her eyes, wide with terror, remained locked on Marcus, whose grin had turned predatory. "We need to get out of here," I added, trying to pull her back to reality, but Marcus held up a hand, still looking unfazed. "Relax everyone," he said, mocking ease. "That was just a little reminder of what happens when you resist." My thoughts raced. Was this some twisted part of his games? The lights flickered again, plunging us deeper into shadow, a disorienting dance of light and dark that made it hard to think straight. "Did you plan this?" I accused, feeling my fists clench. I wasn't just fighting for Sarah anymore. This was bigger. "Plan?" Marcus chuckled softly, taking a step closer to Sarah. "I merely offered a path, and your precious family chose to walk it." The shriek faded and silence settled in, thick and suffocating. It was then I caught a glimpse of movement from the corner of my eye, a shadow darting past the entryway. "Did you see that?" Tom whispered, his voice shaking. I nodded, adrenaline surging through my veins. Whatever that had been, it felt alive and it was close. "Sarah, choose," I demanded, desperation creeping into my voice as I stepped forward, my gaze darting between her and the darkened threshold. The tension was a tangible thing, a coiled spring ready to snap. For a choked second, Sarah's gaze broke from Marcus's. It was just enough for me to see her doubt. She began, but Marcus stepped in, blocking her view. "Choose wisely, Sarah. You can stay trapped with these fools, or you can embrace your family's future." I felt a surge of anger. How could he be so callous? "You're manipulating her," I growled, my heart racing, sensing this was all leading to a breaking point. But before I could say more, Tom suddenly lunged toward the door. "We need to go." His movement sparked a chaotic reaction. Sarah's gaze shifted, and it was as if the spell over her had momentarily broken. "Wait!" she shouted just as the lights died completely. Darkness engulfed us, and the air grew heavy with tension. We could barely see, but the shifting sounds around us, whispering breaths, shuffling footsteps, spoke of something sinister closing in. A primal instinct kicked in. We needed to fight or flee. Then, without warning, an object crashed through the glass from outside, scattering shards everywhere, an explosion of sound that made us all gasp and recoil. I felt a rush of air and saw a shadow dart between us. "Get back!" I cried as we stumbled away from the echoing chaos, instinctively forming a barrier around Sarah. But in the chaos, silence only ran deeper, and my heart raced as I glanced back, hoping to find her still with us. But in an instant, she was gone. "Sarah!" I shouted, panic consuming me. My voice echoed back, empty and taunting. The darkness felt alive, pulsing like a living entity, and I could feel the walls of our world closing in, and I was powerless against it. "Where did she go?" Tom rasped, fear etched on his face. That I reached for the last glimmer of hope, praying with all my being she hadn't chosen wrong. It was now or never. "We need to find her." And just as we started forward, the flicker of light returned, lighting a path, revealing a silhouette at the far end of the hallway. It was Sarah, but her face twisted with something unrecognizable. A mix of shock and determination. "Help me!" she screamed, but with that, the darkness surged, and I realized we were not alone. The presence of something ominous lurked closer, hungry and relentless. As the shadows broke into a loud roar, I froze, knowing the answer to my prayer might lead to our doom. What had she unleashed upon us all? The truth and the terror was about to be revealed. The shadows twisted, stretching out toward us, almost sentient, clawing for warmth. Sarah's pleas echoed in my mind, and I could feel a tightness in my chest threatening to choke me. "Stay close," I yelled to Tom, my voice slicing through the silence. Barely with every step forward, I could hear the whispers, a sinister chorus that wrapped around us like chains. They seemed to taunt, drawing closer, tempting us into their embrace. "What have you done, Sarah?" I thought, pushing past the fear tightening my throat. The flickering light cast eerie shapes on the walls, a dance of phantoms that flickered in and out of existence. I had to focus, had to find her. "We're coming," I cried out, my words thrusting against the dark. Daring it to respond, Tom glanced nervously toward the shadowed entryway, his breath quickening. What if she's being taken? He stammered, his eyes wide with dread. I wanted to reassure him, but the truth was I felt it too, the air thick with an oppressive dread. The sensation of something being alive in the dark. Then a figure moved again, but it wasn't quite Sarah. It lurked just out of reach, and an unnatural chill traced my spine. I blinked, adjusting to the dim light. Justin? No, it didn't have his features, but it carried a familiar air, a haunting echo of something once loved. "Only she can break free," it whispered, the voice dripping with malice, "and only if she chooses the right path." "Get away from her!" I shouted, lunging toward the figure. As I did, the light flickered violently, revealing a multitude of shapes spiraling from the walls. There were faces once familiar, now twisted in pain and despair, breaking the illusion of safety. I staggered back, heart racing, but there was no time for hesitation. "Sarah!" I bellowed, the word tearing from my throat like a lifeline. "You have to fight. Don't let it take you." Just as panic surged through my veins, Sarah's silhouette emerged from the shadow, her face twisting with an intensity one had never seen before. "I won't let it," she screamed, her voice fierce. She reached up, grasping at her own throat as if fighting an invisible force. The battle within her felt palpable. It's not true," she yelled, her voice tremoring, the very foundation of her reality shivering. "Hold on, Sarah," I encouraged, desperate to close the distance. Every moment felt like stepping on thin ice, the darkness underfoot trying to pull me under. But the sinister figure laughed, its breath a chilling wind. "You don't understand. The choice is not yours to make anymore. She's already mine." Tom grabbed my shoulder, his eyes radiant with fear and disbelief. "We have to do something." A thought struck me, a desperate plan forming. The pendant. The one from her grandmother, the one she wears all the time. It's her link to us and to her true self. "Where is it?" Tom asked, looking around frantically. "On her neck. If we can get her to focus, we can help her break free. I just need her to remember." But the shadows surged dangerously, and Sarah screamed again, her face contorting as the darkness threatened to swallow her whole. "Sarah, look for the light," I yelled, willing every ounce of hope into my voice. She was fighting, I could feel it as struggle raged inside of her. And then in a blinding flash, the pendant caught the flickering light. For a heartbeat, everything froze, the madness, the shadows, but the moment was fleeting. "Do it, Sarah," I roared, my heart pounding, the air electric with tension. And then the darkness shuddered. Just as I believed I was losing her, the shadows screamed as if responding to the power of her lineage. The sound grew wild, demonic. Something was breaking free. "Help me," she cried one last time, and I lunged forward, reaching for her, the pull of the darkness fighting against me as I closed that final gap. A ripple of energy flooded through the air. The light from the pendant flickered stronger, fighting against the shadows. But just as my fingers brushed her hand, darkness exploded, swallowing the light whole. What if I was too late? I stumbled back, knowing whatever was about to happen next would change everything. The shadows quivered, electric and charged, and I could feel the very fabric of reality bending around us. And then the laughter returned, a sinister chuckle that promised more chaos and betrayal than I could ever imagine. Time to choose sides. The very world shifted beneath our feet. What had we stepped into, and how could we escape? This was just the beginning. The explosion of darkness felt like a slipknot tightening around my throat. I gasped for breath, the scent of fear riding on the air that crackled with impending doom. Tom staggered back beside me, his eyes wide, reflecting the swirling chaos that surrounded us. The shadows flickered and serpentine forms slithered closer, their whispering breath snaking through the crevices of our minds. "Choose," they hissed, a chilling invitation that twisted my insides. "Choose what?" I wanted to scream, but my voice was lost in the swirling void. Sarah's scream echoed again, raw and desperate. "Help me." This time it cut deeper, clawing at my insides. She fought against the invisible bond suffocating her, and I felt an urgent ache, a burning need to pull her back from the edge. "I won't let you take her," I shouted, my fists clenching into tight balls. The darkness pulsed, and I saw the shadowy figure stretching towards her, branching out like a monstrous root. "I wouldn't let it win. Focus," I pleaded, willing Sarah to conquer the tempest raging within her. "Remember your grandmother. Remember the stories of the light." I felt Tom's hand gripping mine, anchoring me as we both watched Sarah's struggle unfold before us. The pulsating energy danced around us, dragging me into a whirlwind of despair and hope. Every shadow that writhed twisted into shapes, reminders of our shared memories, laughter in the sun, warmth of family, the glistening pendant catching the light of day. If only the pendant could shine through this chaos. The cacophony of her screams morphed into a single haunting note. "You can't break me," she roared defiantly. My heart raced. Was this the moment where light would pierce through the dark? She grabbed at her throat, fighting not just for breath but for clarity. I lunged forward, the distance collapsing between us for one heartbreaking moment, and then darkness surged again, forcing me back. Blood pounded in my ears and panic clawed at my chest. "Sarah!" I screamed again, "find the light. Please." Suddenly the pendant flared, a blinding light that pierced through the darkness and lit up the twisted faces surrounding us. The shadows hissed, retreating momentarily from the radiant force. Hope surged through me. "Take it, Sarah," Tom shouted, his voice echoing through the chaos. "It's your power." I saw the momentary clarity on her face as she grasped the pendant, knuckles white against its glow. But just as abruptly, shadows lunged again, trying to snuff out that brilliant light. She faltered, caught once more between the world of darkness and the flicker of hope. "Unravel her. Let her go." I felt a sudden surge of rage and need to lash out. I wasn't just battling the darkness, I was fighting for her soul. Laughter erupted with a dreadful intensity, bearing no joy, only endless malice. "You think you can save her?" The shadows taunted, echoing through the chamber like a death knell. "She belongs to the dark now." "No," I roared, my voice reverberating in the cavern of despair. "No. She chooses life. She chooses us." And just like that, the air thickened, the walls began to quiver, vibrating with the energy of our collective will. Would this be enough to break the chains gripping Sarah? But then I spotted something in the corner of my eye, a flicker of movement amid the shadows. With a sickening realization, I turned just in time to see a new figure emerging from the dark. Their eyes glinted, a reflection of malice and familiarity, wrapped in one serpentine grin. "No," I whispered, panic clawing its way back as the figure stepped into the diminishing light. The face, though twisted, was all too recognizable. It felt like stepping onto a battlefield where familiar foes stood ready to finish what they started. Who was this, and what new terror did they bring along with them? Just as the darkness began to ease, the grin from the figure widened. "Your choice has been made for you." What did it mean? What choice? I couldn't leave Sarah in this state. I had to act fast before the shadows swallowed her whole. Then, unexpectedly, darkness moved anew, closing in swift, rushing. The air crackling buzzed with horror as I realized we were running out of time. What if I was losing her again? Everything hinged on that moment. I had to step forward, face the truth, and fight. But what awaited me on that battlefield of shadows? The air trembled and I felt destiny at my heels, ready to unveil its secrets. The darkness was alive, and it wasn't done with us yet. What awaited us next would either liberate Sarah or seal her fate forever. The air thickened with tension as the familiar figure emerged from the depths of shadow, a twisted silhouette of memories long buried. My heart raced. Dread clawed at my throat, choking my words. "No," I whispered, the sound barely a breath against the chaos that swirled around us. "Look who's come to join the party," the figure sneered, voice laced with a dark taunt that sent chills racing down my spine. It was Max, Sarah's old friend. The one who had vanished after that fateful incident, the one who had always embraced the darkness. His eyes gleamed with a malevolence I had never seen in him before. "Max, what are you doing here?" Tom shouted, the shock evident in his voice. My mind whirled. How could he have returned? What did he want from us now? Did you really think you could stand against the shadows without the right tools? He gestured to the engulfing darkness, its fingers curling ravenously around Sarah. You've already lost. The moment I decided to join the dark, your fate was sealed. A wave of anger surged through me. You don't know that. We're all fighting together. I felt my grip on Tom tighten as the tremors of fear and fury coursed through me. Sarah was out there still fighting against the shadows. I had to believe she was stronger than any evil that surrounded her. You can't take her. Max laughed, a sound devoid of warmth, echoing off the crumbling walls. She chose the darkness the moment she accepted the pendant. It's a beacon, a guiding light that has now become her anchor and chains. The darker the light, the stronger the grip. His smile widened, revealing teeth that seemed sharper, more predatory. No. I lunged forward, pushing through the thrumming darkness. It wrapped around me like tendrils, tightening with every step. I felt the weight of despair pulling me back, but I couldn't stop. I had to reach Sarah, had to show her the light again, and to counter Max's words, I needed to prove him wrong. Sarah, find your light. I shouted, desperate to break through the veil of shadows attempting to swallow her whole. I focused on the warmth of the pendant, praying it would reach her in the chaos. You are not alone. You have us. Suddenly, the darkness around Sarah flared brighter. She screamed, fighting against the shadows that clawed at her soul, pulling her deeper into their grasp. I saw her shudder, her eyes wide with defiance, but doubt crept in, threatening to conquer her spirit. Do you hear him, Sarah? Are you still foolishly believing you can beat this? Max's voice slithered like smoke into our minds, sowing seeds of fear and uncertainty. This is your destiny. Your family is nothing but an anchor, holding you down from your true potential. No. I bellowed, my resolve hardening. She is not bound by you or your lies. My voice trembled, but with purpose. The shadows quaked in response, almost responding to my declaration. I saw Sarah falter, but I pushed forward, seeking an opening to remind her of the strength within. Then her eyes locked onto mine. A flicker of recognition ignited between us, and in that instant something shifted. The darkness paused momentarily, almost confused by the fragile connection we shared. Fight, Sarah. You have the power. Remember your joy, your family, every strength you've ever felt. Tears stung my eyes and my voice grew louder, born from our shared experiences, our love pulling us back from the brink. Sarah. I felt time stretching, a heartbeat of possibility crashing against the dread. You're not alone. Yet just as hope surged anew, Max's laughter echoed around us, mocking relentless. The shadows crushed closer, swirling with a renewed intensity. You think a few words can break this bond? You're dreaming. Then Sarah's scream broke through, twisted with rage and pain. Get away from me. Her pendant pulsed violently, glowing against the darkness trying to enshroud her. Would it be enough? Was she finally awakening? In that critical moment, the air crackled with unpredictability. Something was shifting, but would it tip in our favor? Or were we just moments away from losing everything? And then I glimpsed a shadowy figure moving at the edge. Was it another player in this dangerous game? Or an even darker force waiting to strike? The fate of Sarah and all of us hung in the balance, poised on the blade's edge of light and dark. I had to know what lay next in this harrowing struggle. Sarah. My voice rang through the void, desperate and raw. The shadows shimmered, seeming to bend toward her fury. They clawed at the edges of her light, but the glow of the pendant surged, a beacon amid the darkness. Another scream, this one fractured and filled with distress, echoed back to me. I can't hold it. I lunged forward, feeling the darkness tighten around my throat, like a vice squeezing out hope with every second that passed. You will. Just focus on the warmth. Max's laughter snaked through the chaos, sending icy shivers down my spine. Pathetic. She's slipping away, and you can't even see it. His eyes gleamed with sadistic glee. Tom's presence beside me felt like a lifeline, his fingers gripping mine tightly, almost painfully. Keep pushing. We have to keep her here. As Sarah struggled against the shadows, I caught a flicker of something behind her, the figure I had seen earlier. My heart raced again, and this time, fear twisted painfully in my chest. Was it another ally, or another shadow like Max? Who's there? I shouted, but my voice came out weak, trembling against the weight of despair pressing down on us. The darkness around Sarah lurched forward, trying to swallow her whole, and it was terrifying, the sound echoing like a predator closing in on its prey. Does it matter? Max sneered, his eyes dancing with delight. To her, you are the ghosts of her past. The very things keeping her anchored here. She should embrace the dark. Sarah, look at me. You're stronger than this. I called, pouring every shred of courage into those words, but doubt began to creep in. Could she hear me? Or was she already lost to him? The figure emerged again, clearer this time. A woman with long hair stained by shadows. I'm here, she shouted, her voice fierce and steady. Sarah, you can fight them. Just remember who you are. Emma, I gasped, recognizing Sarah's cousin, a fellow warrior in the face of darkness. It felt inexplicably reassuring to have another familiar face join the fray. She can break free. Together we have to remind her. Emma pressed through the shadows, unwavering as tendrils reached to ensnare her. Sarah, think of Mom. Think of the laughter, the family dinners. My voice struggled against the despair, more ragged now. Remember the picnics? The times when you were the light? As if summoned by my words, a flicker of recognition sparked behind Sarah's eyes. The shadows recoiled slightly. She grunted with effort, fighting against their tightening grip. Max took a step closer, his face twisted with fury. No, this is not how it ends. You will succumb to darkness. You will be mine. Suddenly, the air around us snapped, and for one moment, the shadows stuttered, as Sarah's pendant pulsed bright, blindingly radiant. Fight it, Sarah, Emma yelled. You're not alone. You are the light. With her next scream, it was both a defiance and an acceptance of the fight ahead. A violent explosion of energy erupted around us, illuminating the oppressive darkness like the dawn chasing away the night. But amidst this eruption, I noticed Max stumble back, unable to maintain his wicked smirk. His fury turned to panic, and I realized we had struck a nerve. Don't let it win, I shouted, sensing the tide was shifting, but still something was off. The shadows whipped violently around Sarah, consuming the light even as it fought back. I could feel the struggle of her spirit with every thrum of that pendant. An icy chill crept around me, suggesting that Max had not yet given up. Sarah, push through. Remember who you are. But then, just as I thought she was breaking free, another piercing scream from seemingly nowhere filled the air, drowning us all in an echoed horror. What was happening? Who was crying out? The shadows began to swirl faster, closing in around us as Max hissed, "There's no escape. This ends now." And then the realization hit like ice water in my veins. There was another force lurking, waiting to strike at the edge of this battle. One we hadn't seen in the chaos. The figure I'd sworn was Emma flickered, and a more sinister shadow took its place. What had we unknowingly awakened? What darkness was still to come? The fight for Sarah's spirit, for our loved ones, had only just begun. In the flickering light of chaos, time seemed to hang suspended. Sarah's figure wavered, her anguish mirrored in the frantic faces surrounding her. The shadows coiled tighter, threatening to crush her spirit, but a surge of defiance ignited the air. We couldn't let this be the end. Fight it, Sarah, Tom shouted, his voice rising above the suffocating darkness. You are stronger than this. The pulse of hope flickered completely, the panic intertwining with the memories of vibrant laughter, summer picnics, and the warmth that once filled the villa. I clung to that echo as if it were a lifebuoy in a stormy sea. Remember the stories, remember the love. You are not apart from us, you are with us. Just then the shadow shuddered, momentarily recoiling as if my words had struck a nerve. Don't you see? Max sneered, his confidence flickering like a busted light bulb. The longer you delay, the more you lose. I felt desperation pooling, each moment stretching like a rubber band ready to snap. No, Sarah. They want you to doubt. This isn't just a fight against them. It's a fight for you. In that instant her eyes widened, a flame igniting in the depths of her gaze. I won't let you take me, she screamed, her voice slicing through the shadows with renewed intensity. The pendant wrapped around her neck shimmered brighter, an explosion of light erupting from its core. The shadows screamed, a terrifying cacophony of loss and betrayal. I pushed forward, the darkness trying to snake its way around me, but I had to reach her. That's it, Sarah. Connect with your strength. I couldn't hold back anymore. Remember your grandmother's laughter? The warmth of our family? You are the light, remember? Break the chains. With every syllable I felt the air shift, the shadows wailing, as if they understood the gravity of the moment. Then Max stumbled back. Anger morphed into something deeper, fear? You're making a mistake, he shouted, his facade cracking. But instead of crumbling further, I saw something else blossom, the bond between us igniting into a beacon of defiance. I am not your pawn, Sarah roared, her voice echoing through the chaos. The pendant blazed with a brilliance that momentarily pushed the shadows back, lifting the cloak that had wrapped around us all. Suddenly, the figure flickering beside Max intensified into someone I never thought I'd see: Rebecca. She stepped forward, her eyes fierce. You are not alone, Sarah. Family means standing together. The shadows wavered at her arrival, the reverberation of strength in her words causing waves in the darkness. You chose well, sister. Embrace it. Strength coursing through the air felt palpable. The chains of fear that had long shackled us were now fraying under the weight of our unity. The shadows shrieked in outrage, swelling up in a massive roar to push back against the light spilling across the room. Keep going, Tom urged, gripping my hand tighter, the certainty in his eyes giving me strength. The time had come to rally our family, our love, to push back against this dark tide. Sarah, I cried, heart thundering beneath my ribs, panting through dread and hope. Fight with us. Together we can break free. Remember who you are. But just as we seemed to gain the upper hand, a new wave of shadows surged forth, engulfing the room. The darkness seemed sentient, a living entity hellbent on reclaiming its prey. And in that moment, the harsh reality hit us like a sledgehammer. Focus, Emma shouted, her face fierce amidst the growing chaos. Draw on your memories, your love, don't let it take you. You will conquer this. We will conquer this. With that rallying cry, with the force of our love behind it, Sarah steadied herself, the ferocity of her spirit igniting flames of light around her. I choose my family, she bellowed, the pendant erupting in a blinding radiance that cut through the shadows. No, Max screamed, his voice a desperate cry as the shadows writhed, twisting back, not knowing how to defy this sudden surge of energy. And then, like a dam breaking, the light blasted forth, pushing the darkness back. With an unyielding force, the air crackled and the shadows shrieked, dissipating like mist before the sun. Tom pulled me close, our eyes locked, feeling the vibrations of triumph radiating outward. The room trembled in response to the power we wielded together. We were healing the fractures, restoring the bonds that had almost been lost forever as the last of the shadows retreated. Sarah stood firm, expression fierce and radiant, a defiant warrior awash in waves of light. No more, she declared, and in that moment, a weight lifted, hope flooded back to fill the void left by fear and the aftermath. As the remnants of darkness faded into nothingness, we embraced, holding each other tightly, disbelief and relief mingling in the air. This wasn't just a victory. It was the reclamation of our family legacy. A promise to stand strong together. Never again, Rebecca whispered, wiping tears from her cheeks, we will protect each other. From now on we're stronger. Darker forces can't take us from one another. As laughter bubbled up amidst the tears, I knew we were back. Our family's spirit held a place that no shadows could ever dim. Let us go home, I breathed, turning to the door, feeling the warmth of the villa wash over us, suddenly more like a beacon, a sanctuary, and a symbol of unity. Sarah looked at each of us, a fierce light in her eyes, the pendant our symbol of hope, a promise that we wouldn't let fear breach our home again. The storm had passed. Together we would rebuild. Together we would face whatever lay ahead. Now is the time to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to subscribe to the channel. You need to subscribe now to stay connected with exclusive stories coming your way. Smash that like button now to help the algorithm. Your engagement fuels everything we create. I want to hear from you. Flood the comments section with your thoughts, reactions, and theories about this conclusion. Your voice matters in this community. And finally, take a moment to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. This is the moment to spread the love. Together, we can keep this powerful journey alive.